fortunate enough to attract the best of America's youth in sufficient numbers. But recent realities have put this under pressure. As a result, we will likely not meet our recruiting goals this year.
And who here would like to know why? Now, aside from trannies, taxpayer-funded abortions across state lines, and whatever other non-essential weird stuff the military is doing these days, this is at the top of the list of why people don't join the military. Bowe Bergdahl, who's he pled guilty of leaving his post when he was charged with desertion. He'll have his court-martial conviction vacated by a federal judge. Unbelievable. And don't forget, our federal government traded 5 terrorists for this guy, all of whom are doing God knows what on the battlefield now for the Taliban. Soldiers were injured. One of them was even killed looking for this clown. And again, conviction vacated. I'm just, wow. Look, I wouldn't join this military either. I did 9 years in it. I'm horrified by it. Meanwhile, you have good guys being kicked out of the military for not getting the jab. Stack on top of the fact that Joe Biden traded a WNBA star, Brittany Griner, for the Merchant of Death, but left the U.S. Marine behind in Russia. That, generals, admirals, commanders, is why you can't fill your ranks right now. Worse, seasoned soldiers are being disciplined for not being sensitive enough because they gave someone the SADS. And they're even being court-martialed for killing or capturing bad guys. Trust me, I know firsthand. It happened to me. Well, joining me now is someone who was court-martialed for killing bad guys in a war zone, for crying out loud. Former Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher, along with most red-blooded American who is as ticked off as we are, the common sense cowboy, Patrick Dorinson. Eddie, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this is unbelievable. There's no way we could win a war.
Well, yeah, I mean, for them to vacate this case is a slap in the face to every service member who served during that time and is serving now, and also a major slap in the face to the loved ones of the people that, you know, had people injured, critically injured, or killed looking for this coward. And, you know, that is exactly what he is, a coward. Anybody that leaves his post, leaves his unit in a combat zone, I don't care for what reason, that is a cowardly act because you are putting other people's lives at risk, which is exactly what Bowe Bergdahl did. And for them to just vacate this case and let this guy go off, I mean, it doesn't surprise me, though, because if you remember, you know, on the Obama administration, when he traded 5 Taliban for this guy, he invited Bowe Bergdahl and his family to the White House, pretty much praised this guy as a hero. And it does not surprise me under this administration that he is now being let go. This is what they do. They lift up the weak, and then they demonize the people who want to stand up and actually fight for this country.
It's crazy. But Patrick, you know, I'm thinking to myself, this guy he was with the Taliban for 5 years. And I'm trying to think, Taliban doesn't keep people for 5 years unless they're useful. Normally, they just set up a tripod and they chop your head off and put it on YouTube. So why in the world was this guy kept alive for 5 years and now back? Why would they vacate this?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud to be in the company of 2 heroes, Eddie and yourself. But I got to say, this guy, we don't know what he gave them. He says, well, that he didn't get a jail sentence as part of his conviction because he could prove that he was tortured. Well, I want to know what they gave him. I want to know what he gave them. And quite frankly, he should be in Fort Leavenworth right now for the rest of his natural life, or they should have put him up against a wall. Because this guy, as Eddie said, he put other people in danger. Whatever reason he left, he deserted his post. Haven't been in the military, but I got to tell you, you desert your post and you put others at risk, there is no conviction that can ever be expunged from your record.
Yep.
And you know something? This is the product of years and years of teaching American kids, we can't recruit them, teaching American kids that America's not exceptional, that America's horrible. Took away PE so they can't even pass minimum physical requirements. Half of them are doped up on marijuana, and the other half are doped up on ADHD drugs. No wonder we got a problem.
Yeah. Well, Eddie, I want to get your take on this. The Department of Defense just released a lengthy memo about transgender soldiers because, of course, that's going to help us kill bad guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this is just more of the degradation of our military and just more of this administration pumping their agenda down our troops' throats. And I blame the upper brass for it. I know I've been on here before But this is all due to the upper brass being yes men and not standing up for values and beliefs.
Yeah, Patrick, now maybe I'm crazy here, but if you're taken hostage by a bunch of Somali pirates or Taliban or ISIS or whoever the next foe we have is, I'm sure you're going to be really relieved that the person coming to get you went through the 300-day vacation so they could do hormone therapy, right?
Yeah, when I read this, I thought, wait a second. If you're going through your transition being paid for by the Pentagon, guess what? You can say, well, I can't be deployed right now. One, my nails need to be dried. But this is absolutely insanity. We're going to have a military that couldn't beat, the smallest country on earth. We couldn't beat Liechtenstein right now. And they keep doing this nonsense. I got to say, this reminds me of pre-World War II. We had a lot of deadwood general staff officers. And George Marshall came in and Roosevelt gave him a whip hand and he says, get rid of the deadwood and start promoting some colonels. People forget that Dwight Eisenhower was a colonel who was about ready to resign from the military because his promotion was blocked. And guess what? He went on to lead us into D-Day. Now, what would have happened if he would have just decided to retire? We would have been left with a bunch of dead wood. We need a George Marshall right now
100%.
to rebuild this military.
Eddie, Patrick, always a pleasure. Appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you, Carl.